I am thrilled to be here today with Kelly Carlson, who is the creative behind Boone's Blooms, a woman-owned flower studio located in sunny Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, specializing in florals for hospitality, business, events, and subscriptions. Kelly grew up in a small town in Western New York, south of Buffalo. She graduated from a small college in Pennsylvania with a business degree, majoring in marketing, and then started her life adventure. She spent the next 22 years in outside sales, spending much of her time traveling to glamorous locations like Milwaukee and Ohio. Being at home and traveling less during the pandemic allowed Kelly to start Boone's Blooms. She converted her 3-car garage to her studio and started promoting her flower arrangements to the neighborhood while still working her corporate job. The following spring, she found the Hotel Florist, and the rest is beautiful history. Kelly, welcome to the show.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me.
So I want to talk about, so Kelly, what I love about your story compared to a lot of the previous guests that we had on the podcast is like you had a whole career. I mean, you were in corporate America, living your best life up until a couple of years ago. What made you suddenly wake up one day and say, you know what, I want to have a flower business?
It's kind of an interesting story. I had been traveling a lot for work, finally made my way to South Carolina from Chicago. That was a dream of mine. But work was really unfulfilling. And I was getting bitter and angry, and it was just kind of a bad vibe. So during the pandemic, I had a lot of time at home, and I had done a charity event for a not-for-profit, which I actually run at this point, called the Undergarment Society. So sorry, shameless plug for that. We provide bras and underwear to women in need. And we had an event right before the pandemic, and I did all the florals for it. And the event manager came to me and said, "These are gorgeous. Are you sure you're not trained in this?" So while I had a lot of time at home, hanging out with my fat dog, Boone, I thought, you know what? Why don't I start a little flower business? So that's kind of how it all came together.
Wow. And when you started this business, what was your idea? Was this like going to be a glorified hobby? Is this something you got to just like play with as and when you felt like it? Or did you know from day one, like, holy smokes, like we could take this into the next level and replace my corporate career?
Right. I mean, in my head, I thought, let's go. This is fantastic. I love this. I would love to do this every day. It was a little hard to get my head wrapped around, like, how do you ever make enough money selling flowers to make a career of this? I mean, I'm coming from a corporate background. I was one of the most successful salespeople in the company. So I was looking at really replacing a big income stream. And I'm single, so it's all me, baby.
It's all you. And, we've talked about this. Like, I've always been in so much awe of your determination, grit, courage over just the short amount of time that we've worked together, because, you don't have a partner that you share this life with, and you don't have a backup plan. And you were essentially, what we've all been taught to do. Like, you've climbed your corporate ladder, you were in a really great place, but there was something that was missing. And I love that you hit the nail on the head. Like, how do you get in this industry and make money? I've heard this over and over and over, and I think it's a really valid question. Let's help the listener, just give them some context. What were some of the resources that you instantly dove into to try to figure out, okay, how am I going to make this work?
Right. So, I did a lot of research on pricing, because I think that was really important to understand how you price things correctly. Ordering, which I think that just takes doing to really get that down and do it well. But then I stumbled upon the Hotel Florist and kind of that resonated with me because I thought my corporate background, even though I was on commission, I was used to having really consistent income. And that really hit home with me and made a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like when you came into the like floral world, because we are a bunch of creative entrepreneurs, and I know there's a lot of, people that listen in and they're like, oh, if I was only better at business. I just want to say the flip side is also true. And maybe you can speak to this, Kelly, but when I first came into this industry, I thought if only I was more creative, because I always thought like I just knew the business side. And so I just want to remind everyone, we always wish that we had something that we feel like we're currently lacking, but you can actually use that to your advantage. So when you came into this industry, how did you feel like your corporate background helped you kind of put down your roots in your business?
Well, I think in some ways it made it easier for me because I already understood the sales and the marketing and budgeting and things like that. But I didn't know much about florals. I mean, I watched every video I could. I have piles and piles of books and instruction on how to do that. And I would go to my wholesaler. I got my retail license and I went to my wholesaler, and every week I would buy different flowers and I'd make arrangements. And, you know, I invested a lot of money in flowers the first year that I did this, just so that I could get my hands on them and learn as much as I could. So, I envy the people that either started in a flower shop or have that background in a floral education, that they already knew that.
I felt the same way. I was like year 3 in my business, and I was like, why did I just not freelance in the beginning? I feel like I would have saved myself a lot of time, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. But here we are now. We also have to trust in the path that we were given. And this was our path of least resistance. And I know that when we started working together, you had this phrase. Do you remember what it was?
It's fine.
That was my second phrase, so we'll go with it. It's fine. So talk to us a little bit about your almost like personal development and what it's taken to go from corporate kind of big fish, small pond to entrepreneur, small fish, big pond. Like, what does that take from a mindset point of view? Because I know that's probably one of the things that really keep people stuck is having, especially if you've already been successful in one area of your life, of like, how do I start over again and kind of lose that feeling of success for a while?
I think you just really have to have faith in yourself and confidence, and also know that the universe has your back, as one of my mentors likes to say. It's hard, but I don't think being on the hamster wheel just because you're making a lot of money doing that is really the best thing for your soul. And at the end of the day, aren't we all here to just be the best version of ourselves? And I think that that's been a big part of my journey, especially after we went to Africa. That really came to light. People may not know this, but last year, was it this year? It was
This year.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
You hosted a flower power safari and retreat. And we went to Kenya, and it was life-changing.
That was phenomenal.
Life-changing.
I remember when we met in person, because we had been working one-on-one for a while, but meeting in person is completely different. And I remember it had only been a couple of days, and you looked at me and you said, I'm ready to quit my job. Do you want to step us through a little bit of how you came to that realization? Because I know that that took a lot of courage, and I think it showed up faster than you thought it would.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know that was always in the back of my mind. Like, I really want to make this flower business successful. I want to leave my corporate job. But then you have all these things in your head. how am I ever going to make that much money? Can I really do this? I don't know anything about running a business. But I think being in Africa kind of just your soul is just out there experiencing something like unbelievable and new. And you soak it in and you're like, maybe I only have 10 years left in my life. Maybe I, only have a few years. Maybe I have 50. But why should I stay doing something that's good enough that doesn't set my soul on fire? And that was really it was a real light bulb moment when we were on the retreat that I'm like, I have to do something that I love. I have to take a chance on myself.
I have goosebumps. That's incredible. And it was part of the reason why I wanted to host this retreat in Africa, because everyone was like, why Africa? Like, why can't you do like, I don't know, Miami or, Colorado or something really simple? And I just, for me, Africa changed my life. It really puts things in perspective. And I just trusted that the people that were meant to go on the retreat were the ones that were the energetic match for having a life-changing experience. And it would be a trip they would never forget. And it's so hard to put it into words, but essentially you're completely taken outside your comfort zone. Then you're put into a place that you really could never have imagined what it would feel like. Sure, we've all watched National Geographic, and we've all looked at magazines, and we know what a zebra looks like we've seen a giraffe in a zoo, but you're literally sitting in this open field with wild animals, with someone who can spot a cheetah kill like 10 miles out with a naked eye. And all of a sudden, it just puts everything in perspective. And I love that you brought up time, because so many of us really set ourselves up for failure because we either feel like we don't have any time, we feel like too much time has gone by and it should have happened faster. We put timelines on ourselves in order to deem our progress as worthy or not. And so when you're in this field and you've lost all concept of time and of the day of the week, and you're just really reconnected to your body, all of a sudden the fears of, well, what if I don't make enough money? It's no longer the fear. The fear now is, what if I don't have that much more time? And we sometimes have to take ourselves out of the everyday, out of what we know to be true, and into something that we've never experienced before to have those types of connections. And that's why I think this conversation is so incredibly important, that people forget that time is a commodity that we cannot get back. We cannot go to the bank and buy more time or take some time out on credit, or we're never going to get back today. Today is the youngest we're ever going to be. And the amazing thing, the flip side, is that we get to decide how our time is going to be from this moment forward, from the next hour, from the next day, from the next week. And I just remember there was this shift in you. Whereas the first couple of days, it was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm soaking it all in, to this is amazing. And I'm ready to actually co-create something in my life.
Yeah, absolutely. You got me a little choked up there. I would just say to anybody that is considering a job change, going in a direction of their passion, really consider it, really try it. There's a lot of excuses you can make for yourself in your life, and we only have limited time here. Just make sure you're loving everything you're doing.
I love that. Now, I know someone listening right now, they might have they might be feeling activated, like, okay, I feel very seen, and this all sounds great, and I can't go to Africa and have this life-changing experience, but I would love to know, what are some tools I can implement to make this easier? So looking back on your journey, when you kind of made that decision, all right, I'm finished with my corporate career. I feel like I'm ready to retire. I could always go back to it if I need to, but I'm really going to build something that I believe is going to carry me through, and I'm so wildly excited about. What were some top either mindset tools you used, or practical tools or strategies that you felt like really kept you on track to your commitment of following through?
That's a great question. I would say, actually, when I got back from Africa, I joined your Petals to Profit program, and we started the one-to-one coaching. And this is really valuable for me because you really can understand my business. I can ask you questions because you've been there before me and you're going to understand. I could go to a random business coach, but they're not going to know what it's like to try and sell to a hotel or what it's like to be a florist. So that was really valuable and important to my progress. I also got involved in another program that you host called the Goddess Millionaires. And this was really important for me because when we were in Africa, I kind of started a journey of looking inward and trying to help myself not only become a business person, but a better person. So I don't, can you kind of explain Goddess Millionaires to people? I just feel like I'm not going to do it justice.
Absolutely. So I always say that my Hotel Florist profit method is essentially my entire life's work when it comes to creating consistent income with working with hotels. So that includes from how to pitch, how to land, how to design, how to automate, basically the A to Z process. And it's incredible. It's a beautiful blueprint. It's very masculine in the sense of like, and then you do this, and then you do this, and then you check off this box, and then you go to this door. And I find that it is really helpful, especially when you're dealing with something as intimidating as working with like high-end luxury clients such as hotels. And this year, or starting last year, I'm about a year and a half, almost 2 years in now, I really made a commitment to myself as I rebuild myself after COVID, after I rebuilt my businesses after COVID, that I would actively not fall back on old ways of doing things. And it's not that those old ways didn't serve me or that those old ways were bad, but they weren't sustainable and they didn't support the woman and the leader and the entrepreneur and the wife and the friend and all the versions of me that I wanted to be. And it took me down a really long, continuous journey of personal development. And it wasn't until this past summer that I created my signature program, Making of a Millionaires, under the Goddess Millionaires brand, of basically the turnkey A to Z version of how to reclaim your personal power. And so when it comes to love, how to call in your soulmate, when it comes to your relationship with money, how to heal your money wounds, you're working on your money mindset, how it comes to your leadership, how do you lead in your business? How do you lead in your life? How do you create boundaries versus building walls? How do you essentially like create from your essence? How do you make money? And what I love about Goddess Millionaires is it's really that collection and that dance between the masculine and the feminine. So I always say, these were two versions of me that I never knew existed that were even available to me, but that changed my life. So when you have the goddess, this represents the feminine energy of love and of nurturing and of acceptance and leaning back and receiving. And then you have essentially embodying your true feminine essence. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be for women, because both men and women have both of these energies. But it's that trusting in the universe. It's, planting seeds in the future and knowing that your manifestations are happening. Like it's already happened. It's just literally one foot in front of the other, knowing the universe always has your back, like you said. And then on the millionaire side, it's the masculine, how do I become self-made? How am I self-funded? How do I make a difference in this world through my money? Like, what are the causes that I invest in? And having that ability, especially as women, that opportunity to make the amount of money that we've always desired and the amount of money we've always wanted to call in to support the things that are important to us, whether that's I can go to Whole Foods and buy an organic avocado every week and I feel insanely good about that, to I can sponsor someone and send them to school because I believe that education is extremely important in society, to I can determine where my house is, what zip code I live in. Like when you think about how money truly defines the neighborhoods that our kids grow up in, the type of education that we receive, the type of food we put in our bodies, et cetera, it's like there's this relationship there that it is a resource, unlike time, that is renewable. But if we don't know how to make it, we don't know how to keep it, we don't know how to reinvest it, then this is where we have really sticky issues around money mindset. And so having Goddess Millionaires as my two feminine and masculine energies as the brand, and in creating that signature program, Making of a Millionaires, essentially is the exact blueprint of how I became the woman that I am today. And it's the thing that I share now. And it's actually one of the pieces of work that I'm most proud of. And it was an honor to work with Kelly in that program and just see you literally just close one door beautifully on a corporate career and then walk into your next door of your floral business.
It was amazing.
Very powerful to witness. So today we had our call, and what did you casually mention about November?
Oh, I might have had a real good month. And it was my first full month of working in my floral business.
So Kelly's being, she's being very humble here. Kelly is like, her first full month in business was a 5-figure month. And your second month is a 4-figure, almost 5-figure month. Like the second month's not even over yet. Like, how does that make you feel? Like, what would you go back and tell Kelly a year ago?
Stop procrastinating and follow your dream. You can manifest a wonderful life, and stop being afraid. Do the thing. Go.
So as you've been on this journey, what has been the thing that has surprised you most? What do you feel like has been the most difficult part of this journey, from going from corporate career to walking in and being a full-fledged entrepreneur?
I would say probably the time commitment. I basically work 7 days a week, and I do that to myself. I'm very much a type A personality. So on a Sunday, I'll do paperwork or work on my social media. I didn't expect that. I kind of figured I'd have some extra time to play with, but that's coming. It's coming.
We just now have to hire. Like at some point,
right.
we need to. We've got to start hiring. That'll be the next episode.
Right. Exactly. Follow up.
So what makes you feel most inspired? Have you found that since you've gone full in on your business now the past couple of months, do you feel like your style has changed? Do you feel like you're finding inspiration in new places? Has there been something that's changed for you since you've gone full time?
I just think that I'm more in tune with kind of the designs that are out there, particularly in our town, because I walk into every hotel and it's just full of hydrangeas. And all I can think is, please let me at this, because we'll convey your brand. We'll make sure people know that when they walk out of one hotel into another hotel, they know where it is. They know where they're at. And I can't wait to get my hands all over that.
Okay. That's going to be our next episode, like how you hired and how you got your hands all over Charleston.
Like, all right, let's go, girl.
I thought this episode was really fun to record. And Kelly, thank you so much for your time today. Was really important to me because I know there's a lot of people that kind of have one foot in the floral world, one foot still in their corporate life, and they're trying to figure out, is this even worth it? Like, are the risks real? Should I listen to my fears? What advice do you have for someone who at the moment is really kind of looking at what their options are, and if now is the time to make the leap?
I mean, I say make sure that you have the education behind you. Programs like the Hotel Florist profit method get in there, understand everything that you can so that you're well equipped when you jump into your next phase to just hit the ground running.
Amazing. And if people want to connect with you after this episode, where can they find you?
Yeah, please follow me on Instagram at Boone's Blooms or Boone's Blooms Business. I have a
Easy.
website too. Just connect.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Thank you, Kelly, for being on the show as always.
Thank you.